Hi and welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I want to talk about the virus that's causing this pandemic, if we should call it the Chinese virus or COVID-19, and also what we can learn from history, especially after the Second World War. So up until the end of the Second World War, it was generally a consensus throughout the world that if you have two countries that fought the war, one country wins, one country loses, that the losing side would be blamed for everything, for starting the war, for these disasters, for the death and everything. And after the First World War, which I took as an example, you can see that almost every, especially France, no hard feelings, was blaming not only the German politicians, the German generals, and people who were in power for the war, but they were also blaming the German people because they were part of that country, of that nation. So in between the First World War and the Second World War, a lot of historians agree on that point, that the anger that was inside of the German population was actually one of the major causes that caused also the horrible things that happened throughout the Second World War. So there are also a lot of other stuff like anti-Semitism in Europe, the bad economic things that were happening throughout Germany and so on, but also the anger that the people felt for being blamed that they started the First World War was actually also a big part of it. And now we jump to the Second World War. We all know what horrible things happened there, and it shouldn't be repeated again. But after the Second World War, we could see a shift in the mentality in the whole world, or the general consensus around the world, that after the war is over, the nation or the people of a nation shouldn't be blamed, but the actual actors who perpetuate a certain situation. And the best example for that is the Nuremberg trials. Nuremberg is a city in Germany, and the Allies held a trial there for the high Nazi officials who perpetuated the anti-Semitism, the genocide and everything, and also the concentration camps and many other stuff. But we can see that the Allies actually identified the individuals whose fault it was and punished them. Of course, Germany needed to pay war reparations to other countries and so on, but directly after the Second World War, you can see that the Western powers were actually very interested in having a stable Germany. So they actually tried to help Western Germany to recover quickly. And a disclaimer, I'm not saying that China will attack somebody or cause the Third World War. Now let's continue. First of all, I'm not saying that the Chinese government is, I don't know, like the Nazi government from the 30s and the 40s in Germany, but you know where I'm going. If you say that this virus is the Chinese virus, you're indirectly or maybe directly saying that it's the fault of the people of China and not the individuals. Let's say the individual who worked at that specific wet market where the virus started to spread, or an unelected official in China who didn't report it to his chain of command, who maybe learned about the virus and didn't report it. So there's actually a good quote from the Nuremberg trials that we can also follow today in this crisis. Crimes against international law are committed by men, not by abstract entities, and only by punishing individuals who commit such crimes can the provision of international law be enforced. So if somebody is to blame, it should be those individuals who didn't try to stop the spread, who didn't report things and so on. Maybe some international court or the Chinese, I don't want to go into it, but I think that we are ready for the mindset of the 21st century, and we should definitely abandon the mindset of the 19th and 20th century. So yeah, see ya.